Dr. Adams is a good friend of mine, and most of the times we share some ideas. Yeah, we share some idea. That is a good human, I have to say that. And this is the guy who, okay, as far as I'm concerned, his knowledge when it comes to horses and veterinary services is actually very good. Even before Rio died, advised Marwa to give the horse liquid paraffin. Yeah, liquid paraffin. Instead, at minimum, let them do radiography, that is the x-ray, or ultrasound of tendons and ligaments without imaging. Any claims of its healing is guesswork, not medicine. Once the wound has been assessed for joint penetration, at least that could be helped, because failure here leads to septic arthritis, which is often actually fatal in horses. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another session for today. Today's session will be very different because I promised us I'm not going to do videos on animals, but depending on the situation that the horse is, because I'll be sharing a clip of this condition of the horse so that we get to know what we have, because life of an animal really matters a lot. So that's the reason why I've just said that let me just do that video. Let me guide Marwa himself on how to handle that issue. I'm not speaking like let's say a hater. I'm not speaking like somebody who does not understand animal. I want to speak calmly, professionally, and objectively. Not as a YouTuber, not as a reaction video, not as someone who is chasing views, but as someone who has knowledge about animals. Because I usually tell people that my background, I was in a vet school, but I never finished because of some fee issues. That is why I left. But now, if any support comes in the line of law, I'm ready to do it. I'll do it. I have no problem with that. I'm ready to go back to class. I have to see these villagers, the community people, actually living in peace, in harmony. Justice has to be served, and everybody, actually, the life has to proceed the way it is. So, for those maybe who have not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, share to other individuals, so that anytime I post any video, you people watch. Remember to turn on the notification bell. And maybe for those who don't know the YouTube channel name, it goes by the name Maxwell Lumumba Africa, and I'm the person who is called Maxwell Lumumba. So I basically used my name so that it cannot bring some inconveniences, and this one shows trust and honest, because using your name actually tells you that this person is just straightforward. I cannot go and borrow another name so that I can be using it. So I want to make it very clear from the beginning. This video is not hate. This video is not an attack, and this video is not emotional speculations. This is a professional veterinary advice based on visible clinical science, standard animal welfare principles, and globally accepted veterinary protocol. And that is what I'm going to discuss for today. So I am speaking because no full clinical management video has been shown, and when an animal is injured, especially a horse, silence creates confusion, and confusion creates misinformation. Because when we started this our narrative about this horse. I don't know, some people are saying that it is dead. Some people say that it has broken a leg. Some people say a lot of things. But the information that I have and what I've seen from the video, yeah, because from the animal itself, yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what has happened, yeah, because from the video that I'm going to share, I'll be telling us what is happening. Look at this video, then I'll be analyzing it step by step so that we can help the life of an animal. Once we do that, I'll be very happy. I'll be a happy man. So watch this clip, then we dive deep. From the video that I've actually shared, if these were handled professionally, what should have been done and what should we be seeing? Let me clarify my position. Let me be very clear. I'm not saying that Marwa intentionally harmed the horse from the video, yeah? I'll be telling us the reason why I'm bringing Marwa in this cycle. I'm not saying that Max wanted an accident. Accident happens. But once an accident happens, professional responsibility begins immediately. And responsibility does not belong to emotions. It belongs to procedure, documentation, and transparency. As a vet, you don't argue online first. You stabilize the animal first. Let me just put this. First, the mistake that Marwa actually did is just to go against, okay, not be in terms with the first veterinary. Dr. Adams is a good friend of mine, and most of the times we share some ideas. Yeah, we share some idea. That is a good human, I have to say that. And this is the guy who, okay, as far as I'm concerned, his knowledge when it comes to horses and veterinary services is actually very good. Yeah, it's very good. Even before Rio died, you know, because, you know, even though some cases I'm not involved directly, but some cases I got all the information. The vet, Dr. Adams, advised Marwa to give the horse liquid paraffin. Yeah, liquid paraffin. Instead, you know, even Marwa came to the video and condemned the veterinary services. Instead of giving liquid paraffin, he gave the horse beer. Let me just say this before I handle the issue that we have on the table. Let me just say this. Yeah? Okay, we all understand horses, they don't have the four compartment like the cattle. You know what the cattle do is basically fermentation. If you could give a cattle a beer, at least for that, because you know the process of these beer making and everything is through fermentation. But these, when we are talking about the horse, this is a pseudo, actually it has a pseudo stomach. It is only that its stomach, the how the stomach is, it can allow digestion of the fibers. That is what I'm calling by pseudo stomach. So it was very wrong for Marwa to give that horse beer, because basically beer is something like that is a fermented product, yeah, and you are told that animal has colic. The best way it could give it was liquid paraffin, and this is the message that Marwa himself gave out, that initially they had a cattle. The father, that is Conrad, gave that cattle liquid paraffin. Then the animal died. So Basically, when I was trying to digest that story, I came to realize that they gave the cattle kerosene, yeah, instead of liquid paraffin. So that actually Marwa himself rejected what the vet told him. Instead, he consulted through the mobile phone. They gave Rio actually, we call it, they gave Rio beer, and that one could not help when it comes to colic. So that was the end of Rio. So all the excuses about we call it all the excuses about I don't know, Rio died, I don't know what, it is human error. That is what I can really advocate. Maybe the time reached. I can't say even if it is negligence or what. That was the situation. So the next time when you do anything, follow the guidance of the veterinarians. Even I remember there was a time, I don't know it was Onyx or what, I watched the video. Onyx was having diarrhea. The host guy gave Onyx, it was Epsom salt. That is really wrong, because Epsom salt does not help in digestion. Epsom salt is a laxative. Instead of helping it, it makes it severe. They consulted further, somebody else told them about kaolin. I don't know, okay, even if they gave it kaolin, I don't know. So I was not following those videos. So, talking about the situation that we have in hand, from the footage, images that I've shared, the injury is located between the fetlock and the pastern. This is the leg. We have these, you see here, this is the pastern here up. I'm holding one hand with the camera here. This is the pastern, here is the fetlock. So the injuries, it actually had, okay, I'll be explaining everything, yeah. So that region is not soft tissues alone. It contains critical tendons, ligaments, joint capsule, support structures that allow weight bearing. So the horse cannot place the hoof flat, because from the video you see that the horse cannot place the hoof this way. This is the hoof, this flat, but instead it has, the limb remains flexed. Some people are telling me I can be a very good lecturer. I hope one day I'll be in class being a lecturer. So that posture alone tells any trained professional one thing: this is not a superficial wound. When a horse avoids loading the limb completely, it means structural instability, not just pain. So a bandage does not fix structure. A bandage, because we can see some bandage there, yeah, you can see from that leg there is a lot of bandage. Let me admit this: Marwa himself was given my number and he called me, but I couldn't go there because of various reasons. Let me just say that frankly and honestly. He doesn't know me, we have met before, but I was not in a capacity of really helping because of various reasons, and you people can really understand. So a bandage does not fix the structure. A bandage only protects skin and limits the swelling. From the videos, Marwa actually was telling us that he has consulted, they have to put the eyes for the swelling, blah, actually a lot of things. So clinically speaking, this injury should immediately be treated as a suspected tendons or ligament injury, or a possible joint involvement, or a potential career-ending condition if mismanaged. And when I'm talking about the potentially career ending condition, if mismanaged, is about euthanasia, where you make the horse sleep peacefully so that to avoid, it is really struggling, it cannot bear the weight. This is not a cattle. So let me tell us what should have been done immediately. This is the most important part, because if I were called, of which I know I was called, let me just say that if I was called as a vet or consultant, these are the mandatory steps that I could do. First, immediate immobilization. What do I mean by that? A horse with suspected pastern or the fetlock instability should not be left walking freely. The way you see that horse, the way it is walking freely, it should not be left that way. No grazing, no roaming, no uncontrolled movement. Movement worsens tendon tears, because the more it walks, the more those tendons becomes severe. So what am I saying? That animal should be the movement should be restricted, so that it can feed from somewhere, from maybe the room or the stable that they've made. It should be feeding from there, and everything be given to it from that point. Second, diagnostic imaging. At minimum, let them do radiography, that is the X-ray, or ultrasound of tendons and ligaments. Without imaging, any claims of its healing is guesswork, not medicine. That is what I can tell Mura. Any effort that you people are doing is just guesswork. Get a medic who has ultrasound, get a medic if they can take the horse for the X-ray, well and good. So without imaging, everything, the treatment, everything is null and void. So third, pain and inflammation control. These include the proper, let me just not tackle anything. Let me just tackle about the proper NSAIDs. NSAIDs are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So for these ones, that help in inflammations and pain. Even the cold therapy in early the early stages, when you see Marwa was being told that do some cold compression, the cold therapy, that is good. And you have to monitoring digital pulse. Have the digit, you know where the digits are. Just make sure that you monitor that pulse rate from that point. So pain is not just suffering. Pain causes secondary injuries. Know that. I think they gave it some drugs IV. It has reached a point that even Marwa himself is like the medic, because when I was called, this is what Marwa told me, that Maxwell, come and help me to administer these painkiller through IV. I told him I was far away, and that was the reality. That was the reason why I never went, because if I could be around by that moment, I told him to wait for me, like I was actually in Homa Bay, like 40 kilometers away. I told him that if you wait for me, I'll be in the next 30 to 1 hour, I'll be around. I can come, do everything. You see now. But now, through consultation, everything was done through the consultation and everything. But for me, who is calling? Through consultation, what I can really tell Marwa, don't consult. Let the vets do what they think is good, because you can't call me. You already have the painkillers, you already have everything. Now my work is just to enjoy. I'm not making any diagnosis. That is really bad. So the fourth, infection control. If the wound was open, antibiotics, tetanus protection. You know the horses, they are very prone to tetanus, yeah, and wound assessment to joint penetration. So failure here actually will be leading to a lot of real problems. So once the wound has been assessed for joint penetration, at least that could be helped, because failure here leads to septic arthritis, which is often actually fatal in horses. Yeah. So, let me say this. What we should have seen publicly, because, when you're hiding these all cases from your audience, I'm very sure you have some veterinarians, some surgeons, they are watching you, yeah? Because I myself, when I reached in the village, I took that initiative of calling Mora. I told him that these, and these. He told me, somebody has, okay, actually he texted me. He told me that somebody has already attended to the horse. Because, before that, he contacted Dr. Adams. He never came. He contacted the director of veterinary services in Korea West. He never came. He contacted some local vets. Some of them never came. So that alone shows you something that I'm not going to say it on the camera. Yeah. So this is where transparency matters, because if everything was handled professionally, the public should have seen vet visit footage, diagnostic reports, even blood names, clear stall reset setup, control bandaging protocol, professional explanation, not emotional defense. Because when Adams was coming there, sometimes you were just introducing him to the camera. We see everything. I say okay, because I watch. Because even if I don't watch, at the end of the day, I'll be told what happened. At the end of the day, other way, like this video, yeah, I just get them from the vets because they're my friends. Okay, this is my professional advice to Marwa. So now, speaking directly and respectful, Marwa, if you truly care about animal welfare and want to end this discussion professionally, this is what I advise. Show the vet report, show the imaging results, explain the treatment plan, acknowledge the severity honestly. You don't lose respect by admitting an injury was serious. You lose respect by downplaying it. Yeah. Horses are not goats. They will usually tell people. Horses are not cattle. Horses, they are at high risk animals when injured. Transparency protects you as Marwa, the trainer himself, that is the Max, I don't know, Max the horse trainer, Max Brand the horse trainer, the animal, and the audience. If that horse, that is forbid, yeah, let's say the injury was severe or any other thing could happen, or the disease will be something that actually can cause fatal, because from the septic arthritis itself, that means I talked about septic arthritis. That itself can actually make it fatal. Why? Because that is bacterial infection, penetration of the infection, and it penetrates to the bloodstream. Sometimes it can even cause some diseases like septicemia, and that is not something new. That is something that people know. That is something that it is there, and we get to understand it daily. So let me say this: the horse posture, because I'm concluding. Okay, let me conclude calmly. This horse posture, this inability to bear weight, this flexed past and position all indicate a serious musculoskeletal injury. Bandaging a lot is not treatment. Time alone is not healing. Silence alone is not transparency. As professional, I know maybe the reason why you people were hiding that injury is because maybe you people took some sticks and you just applied there. Maybe I'm not saying that is what happened, because I've even seen people doing that and the leg becomes it actually heals very well. I've seen some people even placing the pop, plaster. It is called pop is a plaster of Paris. Some people play that, you get that the injury, because after placing that it hardens, so you get maybe that it can be rectified. So I was saying that as a professional, we owe animals truth before ego. That is what what is calling. So before ego, and procedure before pride, and welfare before views. This video is not judgment. It is professional guidance. It is the right step. If the right steps were taken, show them. If mistakes were made, correct them. That is how we heal, or we actually, that is how real animals care is done. If you see this, the chances are very minimal, because I don't want to judge from the condition. The way I said, you can try everything, but if you see everything is not working out, the animal is in pain, the animal is struggling, you can make it to sleep. Please sleep peacefully. Sleep peacefully. I know what sleeping peaceful, just make it making it sleep literally means that you just make it sleep forever without waking up again. So that alone tells us a lot of things. Because if you are a horse owner, this is just something like I'm just telling us, trainer or content creator, learn this lesson. When animal is injured, documentation is protection, and professional care is not negotiable. Just know that it is not negotiable. Save animals' life. That is something that I will wish I personally to really talk about, and today I've talked about it. So for those who have not subscribed to this wonderful YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share to other individuals, so that anything that we do it with a lot of respect. That is enough for today. Thank you for now. Let us meet in the next episode. Goodbye.